Hey, what's up y'all? This is William, the Permaculture Consultant, and today's video is going to be about making biochar for the soil remediation over in the disaster zone of North Carolina and Tennessee. I'm back from my latest trip, but the video that you're about to see was recorded before I left for that trip. I went and delivered the biochar to my parents. I'm in the process of making more biochar. As you can see, this video is talking about how that's done, how I'm doing it, and how much I'm making per batch, really. Thank you guys so much for you guys' patience. Thank you guys so much for your donations. The donation link is still down below for those of you that would still want to give. There's still a lot to go on, and I'll come up with an update here pretty soon, just what I've seen on the last trip. But yeah, that's what's happening. So let's get started with the video. Hey, what's up y'all? This is William, the Permaculture Consultant, and yes, I still look homeless. No, I still have not shaved since leaving for the disaster zone. But today, I know you guys have probably seen that update. If you haven't seen the update, go ahead and go back and check it out, because that's going to make today make a lot more sense. Today we are going to be making biochar for the bioremediation of Western North Carolina and Tennessee. And as you can see, I probably have some biochar on my face right now. Actually, it's not biochar yet, it's charcoal. But here's what I'm using to make biochar. I've got this 50-gallon drum. On the side of it, I have a bunch of holes stabbed through. I just use a Maddox to do so. And these holes are acting as like airflow into the inside of this barrel here. You can actually see the holes a little bit better through here. And then in this metal container right here, I have the green wood, or the fresh wood, that I'm turning into charcoal. So this gets the lid on, and then I put this in the bottom of the barrel. Now this also has a few holes stabbed in the bottom of it, so that way all the off-gassing can burn up. So this metal tin right here gets placed to the inside of this barrel, and now I'm going to stack wood in the sides of this and on top of this, and then I'll light it from the top down. So after that process, it takes about 12 hours to do that process. I take what's in that metal tin and I dump it into this container right here. And as you can see and hear, this is really good quality charcoal. This is all done with like wood that's here on the property. And then I take this here stick and I crush it up to smaller pieces. Just like that. Now it takes a little bit longer than that, and I have plenty of time just waiting for that to burn down. And then after that, I dump it over here on this tarp, and I let anything that was wet kind of dry out a little bit. I did have a bucket of previously completed biochar, but it was outside and it got pretty wet. And this stuff can hold up to 7 times its own weight in water. So letting it dry out a little bit so I can make transportation just a little bit easier, because otherwise this stuff is pretty doggone light. So I'm trying to make as much of this as ready as possible, or I'm trying to make as much of this as possible so we can use it over in the bioremediation of North Carolina and Tennessee. Now you can get a better idea of how much charcoal or biochar that I have so far. And it looks pretty good. It's still in pretty big chunks in some of the spots, but some of that can be sifted out and then further processed, which I'll be doing here before too long. Now you might be wondering, okay, so how is biochar going to fix the toxins that are in the soil or in the water of North Carolina and Tennessee? And that's very, very simple. The biochar, well, the charcoal, it's charcoal right now. Once it becomes inoculated with microbes, then it will be biochar. But the charcoal right now, biochar in the future, will be providing homes for the microbes to live. So they can take the toxin, they can take the carbon structure of the charcoal that they're living in, or the biochar, and they can kind of break them both down and lock up the toxins in medium and long chain carbonic acids. So the toxins will be locked up in basically prison. That's what the biochar is allowing it to do, the microbes to do. It's providing them a home as they break down and lock up these toxins. Otherwise, you're gonna have to somehow, it provides it like an intermediate home almost. Like you're waiting for the seeds to germinate and start growing and feeding the microbes. Meanwhile, they have a safe home where the microbes can get out of the direct sun. They have access to moisture that the biochar is holding on to. And yeah, it also has access to carbon. Anything it needs, it has access to immediately while we're waiting for the plants to start growing and start feeding these microbes with the exudates and the sugars and stuff like that. That's the main goal of the biochar. Also, charcoal, as many of you guys know, just acts as a natural filter. Sometimes whenever you eat something you shouldn't, or your dog does, or your child eats something that they shouldn't, you make them take in charcoal to soak up the toxins, and then that way they can pass it easily and stuff like that. Same thing, if you view the soil as like a human's digestive system, everything starts making a lot more sense. Everything becomes a lot more simple and easier to deal with. So let's continue on with the biochar making. Next step for me is to start packing in the sides with the wood and then filling up the top, and then I'll go ahead and get this thing lit up. Alrighty, so now that this barrel is completely full of wood, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this weed torch over here, and I'm gonna get this thing lit up. And I usually let it burn for about 12 hours. And after about 12 hours, I get, you know, a pretty decent product. As you can see right here, you can see based on the sound and how easily it crumples, it's still a pretty good product. And any of the black stuff you leave behind, you should be able to wipe off, and then it comes off pretty cleanly. If it comes off oily, that means you haven't burned off all of the like the wood alcohols or then need the gases and stuff like that. And there we go. Now that it's lit, I'm just gonna let it burn all the way down. About 12 hours later, I'll be able to, you know, carefully pull that metal bucket on the inside out and hopefully have some finished product like this. And then, so while that's burning, since I have plenty of time, now is the time where I start doing a lot of my prep work. I'll either go through and start pounding this stuff up, or I'll go ahead and get more wood processed for the next burn. And that's basically what I'm gonna do until I go back out there. Now, whenever I do, and I said this in the update, but when I do go back out to North Carolina, my main goal is going to be getting a greenhouse set up for some of these communities, so that way they can quickly dry their firewood, because a lot of these places, they're gonna be running off just wood heat. Whatever they can burn inside their house to keep their house warm, that's what they're gonna be doing. And a lot of the trees that we just cut down are still very, very green. So the plan is to get that wood burned out or dried up as much as possible before they start burning inside their own homes. And then also I will be bringing in more cash donations that you guys have graciously donated. As I see the need adjust and everything, some of the funds will start going into the soil remediation project, which my parents are heading over at Permaculture's farm. The $5,000 grant that Give Send Go gave me is going to go directly to the soil, paying for the labs to get the soils tested, and so that way we can figure out what we're working with. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.